Hey everyone, I'm Clue. So we're a couple of days out from Bright Lights, and it's time for me to finally get caught up on the lore, because I was meaning to read through these, but there was just so much going on that, well, I didn't have time. So I don't think there'll be any more Blitz videos this week, right? Because we'll just do system failure, synthetic features, and protocol Aperion, right? Which, weirdly enough, the reason I'm saying this is because obviously a lot more of you than what I would have thought like to watch me be somewhat shit at the game. So anyway, let's crack on to system failure. Should have known better than to trust a Teklo. They're all the same, even her. Ooh, that's already interesting off the go, right? So obviously what comes to mind is Dash straight away, but I didn't realize she was related to Teklo. Sucks to be betrayed by the ones you trust. There's 8 people in this little cell, standing room only. You'd think the iron assembly could afford more space for its valued customers, and air conditioning. It stinks like the sprawl in midsummer. But that's typical of the bloody corporations. Common decency hurts their bottom line. Hurts them to do anything but make more dirty money. Sorry. Yeah, certain words for whatever reason, right? Because I'm trying to hold back a pretty crappy British accent, well, more grimy British accent, right? Because obviously it's what we think of when we see Max, at least I do. Some little punk rock. Drives me bonkers. There you go. To think of Dash and all the Tolix she'll make for her new friends. Can't think of any reason she'd stitch me up like that. Money talks and all, law of the concrete jungle. This can't be it though. She was born privileged. That's why I'm here and she's... A couple of enforcers turn up with lunch. A plain Nostralug and a bottle of water to wash the slime down. Curious. So I'm going to Google this, but it sounds like something real. Sounds European. I'm very interested in the real life background of all the different places. So Metrix seems very, European, British, but I'd also almost go close to German. Potentially, maybe, we'll see. Okay. Guess that's why it's called life imprisonment. Enforcers don't want you dying on them. Messes with their business model. There's a kid curled up in the corner. Ragged thing, only 10 years old. A bruiser from Coppertown tries to swipe her lunch. I back him off with a headbutt to the kisser. Can't be having behavior like that here. It's undignified. The kid nods her thanks and guzzles her food and water down before anyone else can have a go. I know what that feels like. Always on the edge. Just waiting for life to give you another kick. Learned it when I was young. Too young. Long before I met Princess Teklo. Yeah, okay, so it has to be Dash, right? And Princess, which I would assume means, not cousin either, but actual daughter? That's an interesting concept to float, because I wouldn't think that Teklo... I mean, maybe sister, I suppose, but then the age difference is kind of interesting. Rosario Orphanage. Sounds nice, doesn't it? Imagine brick walls covered in ivy, thick, immaculate rose beds, and swings... No, what? And swings hanging beneath an oak tree. Then pull the other one. Then pull the other one? What? Oh, right. Okay, so this is Dash. So he was in an orphanage. Must be because Teklo is her dad. That is an interesting concept. So he's not the greatest dad. Right? Even in his little monologue, there was no real backstory. Unless it's, what's it called? I'm losing the terminology. Obviously a mistress, but not in a mistress sense because he wasn't married. Right, like a dalliance, right? So he's done the deed, had a kid, didn't know about it potentially, right? But then I'd assume the people in the Iron Assembly, knowing that connection, she has value. And there's reason enough to then, sort of look after her to some extent, to groom her and then use her as a figurehead. And then picture a giant cinderblock outhouse packed with turds, just a bunch of abandoned sprawl babies, like so much industrial waste. You grow up quick in a place like that. While the other 6-year-olds were making mud pies in that open sewer they call the playground, I was making potions. I was making potions in Jana's cupboard. Yeah, too young to be messing with chemical compounds, but I was never one to be about age appropriate. Ooh, chocolate, bin stink. Okay, well, throw up, rot, bin, and then stink. Interesting. Was my most successful concoction, especially when heated in the canteen oven. Cleared the whole place out for days. Orphanage management had to put us up in a hotel while they deodorized the place. At age 7, I took an interest in circuitry. I isolated and activated the extinguisher system over the staff quarters, ruining several thousand Tulix worth of furniture in one day. This is also curious now, right? Because this sounds like British slang, but I'd be interested to see if this is, you know, a word they've come up with. Put an orderly in the hospital too. Asphyxiation, they said, must have been quite the snorer. I kept a low profile after that. Minor pranks. Lights flashing on and off by themselves. Magnetic doors locking and trapping the unwary for a few minutes. Random blasts of music over the intercom. 2 staffers left because they were sure the place was haunted. Phantom Max at your service. For my 8th birthday, I threw myself a party, complete with entertainment, hacked the internal surveillance system, and watched a sweet romance blossom between the orphanage manager and the maintenance attendant. Against company policy, of course. That is interesting to float, right? Because obviously there's a lot you can read into there. When they finally got it on, yep, never mind, it's getting straight to it. When they finally got it on in the boiler room, I pointed every security system within earshot onto the suckers, uploaded the footage, and shared it to every screen within the orphanage's parent company, the renowned Rosario Hills Institute. Okay, so they own both? No, sorry. There you go, the concept was lost on me. He was describing a proper orphanage, and then what the orphanage was. I thought he was describing Dash's life, and then his life. So, the Rosario orphanage is a shithole. Where are we up to? Manager and attendant were sacked the next day. By the end of the week, I found myself in new digs. My very own room in the exclusive Rosario Chateau. Chateauix? I know, Chateau. Does it normally have an X? Is it just silent? Turns out that the Rosario Hills Institute runs most of the city's orphanages. Not out of the goodness of their hearts. No clarification. Very short sentence. The orphanages are gathering grounds for their subjects. Special kids like me. Kids with unusual talents. At first, I feel like that should have been a comma. Right? Not out of the goodness of their hearts, but as gathering. Yeah, something like that. Special kids like me, kids with unusual talents. At first, I thought it was a bit of a lark. My own room, good food, a decent bed, attention for some, okay, no, now I'm confusing. So, the Rosario Chateau is good. So, was he sent to the proper orphanage? Then pull the other way. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. We'll see where Dash comes into play, because none of these look like Dash. That's Max, obviously, but then I suppose it could be Dash normal before she dyes her hair to fit in. Special kids like me, kids with unusual talents. At first, I thought it was a bit of luck. My own room, good food, a decent bed, and attention for some very interested white coats. Then the test started, the prodding and poking, the scans and samples. I soon discovered that special isn't all it's cracked up to be. At least I found some other kids on my wavelength. Ugh. See? So good, every now and then there's just one word that I can't say properly. My head just twisted in knots. Ricky Royce was one. Nothing that lad couldn't steal. And Lena Bella. Yeah, so no Dash. Purviews? Ryers? Purvoyers? Peruser of poisons? You don't know? Insert or similar word. We put our 10-year-old eggheads together and hatched a plan right under those Rosario roosters' beaks. Ricky stole the keys, and Lena Balla poisoned the water. While all the whitecoats churned on their clipboards, I mixed some industrial cleaners and blew a kid-sized hole in the outer wall. Off we three went into the alleyways with every other shaved head wonderkind trailing along behind. Also, they broke everyone out. It's interesting that when we're not seeing more characters, like just obviously we'll probably read because this is prior to him being locked up. And then Dash. So it is Dash Teplo. Interesting. We hung out for a bit, making ends meet from what we could, beg or steal, until we found ourselves a helper, Dash Teklo, and her fancy gadgets to our rescue. A whole bag of tricks and cozy little place to stash them. I split soon after. Never been one to take charity, especially the silver spoon princess type. I haven't seen much of the Rosario kids. Ricky and the others have a hideout somewhere in Zinnia Park. Lena Bell peddles her poisonous wares down in the pits. Less chance of the Institute tracking us down if we keep our distance. Best left to our own devices. Yeah, interesting. So we could see them come out. I would love to actually see a proper, like, alchemist class, right? Someone that dabbles with poisons, more expansion on blood rot, frailty, and what's it called? And also, just now connecting the dots that Outsiders is in the pits, right? So Outsiders is the bottom of Metrix, which is why I was thinking mechanologist when we saw Wreck Havoc, because that looked like something a mechanologist would come up with. Less chance, and this is why we read the lore. I should probably go back and do, like, Outsiders and everything else. We'll see. Less chance of the Institute tracking us down. Nope, read that already. Speaking of devices, the lights dim. Bedtime for the baddies. The other inmates hunker down, sitting back to back or curled up, as small as they can manage in a confined space. They nod off pretty quick. That's conditioning for you. Make do with what our socio-economic betters care to dish out. Not me. I'm standing, wide awake. This is my moment. The enforcers have stripped me of my usual gear, but I always keep something amusingly tucked away for special occasions. With a wince and a meaty... Okay, good old prison compartment. Right, the secret compartment... Oh, no. Because he has body modifications. I went too dark straight away. I fish out the contents and pat my fake flesh shut. My fake flesh shut. Oh, FC. The short-wave disruptor pops the cell's maglock in a satisfying shower of sparks. The surveillance system is next. Cameras sizzling like meat pops on a street-side barbecue. I slap the disruptor on the holding wing door and activate its self-destruct sequence. By this time, my former cellmates are waking up to the fact that there's a breakout afoot. Close your eyes and cover your ears, I tell them. They're smart enough to oblige before the counter hits 0. The explosion blows the metal door clean off its hinges and sends it hurling into the startled enforcers beyond. I parade through the smouldering doorway and snatch up the nice plasma barrel shot an enforcer humiform has left on the floor for me. Enforcer's humiform has left. Humiform. So I assume they're the, like, the half robots, right, that we've seen? Not half robots, sorry, the little helper robots. How kind, the owner is unconscious, knocked out by the exploding door. Yeah. Her bot companion tries to get up on its one remaining leg, but blasts of hot plasma end it. That was a tricky sentence for me. Her bot companion tries to get up on its one remaining leg, but blasts of hot plasma ends that. But I'm still skipping words. So I'm a bit dyslexic sometimes, right? I miss words and they jumble around. Through the antechambers windows, I can see other enforcers in the station's main office, both human and robot, scrambling for their weapons. I shoot out the glass and step to one side as my fellow prisoners charge out of the holding wing and take the shortest path to freedom. Through the window and over the enforcers, I pick off 2 bots and a humiform, who dodge the stampede, winging the latter out of respect for fellow organics. Winging the ladder. And a humiform. Organics. Okay, no, so humiforms are halves. Okay, I even ordered some auto ambulances for the wounded and whining humiforms staggering out of the shattered front door. It's clean outside. I was going to say clean. It's clear outside. Lovely evening. Even the smog's been cleared off by some gutsy breeze. Nothing to block my view of Teklo's Industries' big, beautiful needle. I sight my stolen barrow at the holographic face of Jules Teklo Vossen. He smirks at me from a dynamic billboard perched halfway up the tower. I empty the plasma mag into the smug expression. The shots fall well short of 5 kilometers between me and Teklo HQ. But hey, it's a thought that counts. I toss my empty gun aside and flip Teklo Vossen the middle finger. Yes, I'm one to hold a grudge. They're all I have these days, grudges with those on high and grudges with the system that keeps them there. As for Princess Teklo, maybe I should thank her. Trail has given me an exciting new focus, a big, explosive aspiration. A party the likes of which Teklo Industries haven't seen before. There'll be fireworks. What's a rooftop party without fireworks? After all, Metrix is the city of bright lights. Great little intro into his mentality, right? Big old screwed by the system, so now I'm gonna wage war back. God, just his design is so awesome. Again, it's like the nice middle ground between, violence and mechanologist, right? Without going too sci-fi. So I understand how he's like the big draw for a lot of people outside of the super mech enthusiasts, right? Because Dash and Teklo Vossen, Teklo Vossen is this giant armored mech guy, and then Dash herself is all these little gadgets and doodads, and then you have this guy who just creates his own hyperdrivers and swings down a giant socket wrench. Awesome. Anyway, we'll leave it there. Hope you enjoyed. And systemic? synthetic futures in the next one, which for some reason I feel like should go before this, maybe. But I'm pretty sure I opened them in the right order. They both say the 23rd, but you know, we'll just double check quickly, right? Because we're done with that one. Yeah, system failures, then synthetic. Interesting, but it's just the two halves of the coin. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. See ya.